You're sitting in a cafe in Karachi. You've been here for 6 weeks. The man 3 tables away has a $25 million bounty on his head. He doesn't know you exist. Nobody does. You order tea. You read the newspaper. You look like every other businessman in this district. Boring, forgettable, gray. Your phone buzzes. One word. Green light. You don't react. You don't look around. You fold your newspaper. You take one last sip of tea. You check your watch like you're running late. In 90 seconds, a drone will reduce this cafe to rubble. The man with the bounty will be gone. So will the waiter. So will the old man playing chess by the window. You have 60 seconds to walk out without drawing a single glance. You stand. You leave cash on the table. You walk. Not fast, not slow. Just a man heading back to the office. You're 2 blocks away when the explosion rattles the windows. Car alarms scream. People sprint toward the smoke. You keep walking. Tomorrow the news will call it a gas leak. The intelligence agencies will know the truth, but they won't know about you. You don't exist. You never did. You don't apply for this job. There is no application. There is no job posting. They find you. You're already elite. Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, CIA paramilitary. You've operated in countries that officially had no American presence. You're the top 1% of the top 1%. And you think you've seen everything. You're wrong. A man approaches you. No uniform, no rank, no name tag. He looks like an accountant. Soft hands, average build, the kind of face you forget 5 seconds after meeting him. That's the point. He asks one question. How's your Arabic? You tell him it's solid. You picked it up in Syria, in Yemen, in places that never make the news. He nods. He slides a folder across the table. 1 sheet of paper inside. No letterhead, no classification markings, just text. The pitch is simple. There's a unit. No name, no patch, no records. The military doesn't acknowledge it exists. The CIA has never heard of it. Congress thinks it's buried in someone else's budget. You would become a ghost. Your service records will show you retired or transferred to a training command in Kansas. Something forgettable. Your family will think you have a desk job. You'll miss birthdays. You'll miss funerals. If you die in the field, there's no body sent home. No flag on the coffin. No 21-gun salute. Just a star carved into a wall in a building you'll never see. No name underneath it. Just a star. The man asks one question. Are you in? You think about your wife, your kids, the life you imagined. You say yes. You don't fully understand what you just agreed to. The man stands, shakes your hand, walks away. You never see him again. 3 days later, you receive coordinates, a location somewhere in the American South. You're not sure which state. That's intentional. Training starts now. You've been through selection before. Delta pushed you until you collapsed. SEAL training nearly drowned you for 6 months. You thought you understood hard. This is different. They don't care how far you can run with a rucksack. You already proved that. They don't care how well you shoot. Prove that too. They want to know one thing. Can you disappear? Day 1, surveillance training. You're handed a photo of a man, average build, brown hair. Follow him through the city for 8 hours. Don't let him see you. Don't let anyone see you following him. You've tracked insurgents through Baghdad. You fail in 2 hours. You never noticed the woman with the stroller. She was counter-surveillance. She spotted you 3 times. Once when you crossed the street too fast. Once when you checked your phone at the wrong moment. Once when you made eye contact with a shop owner who was also on the team. The instructor doesn't raise his voice. He lays the photos in front of you. Photos of you, taken by people you never saw. Start over. Day 3, you fail because you wore the same jacket twice. Someone noticed. Day 5, you fail because you walk like a soldier. Soldiers stand out. Day 7, you finally complete the exercise. 8 hours. 0 detection. The instructor doesn't congratulate you. He hands you a new photo, a new target, a new city. Harder this time. The target knows he's being followed. You do this for 6 weeks. You learn to change your walk, your posture, the way you carry your shoulders. You learn that a baseball cap makes you memorable, that a gray jacket makes you invisible, that people remember faces but forget bodies. The language training is just as brutal. You already know Arabic. Now you learn the Yemeni dialect, the street slang, the hand gestures, the way men from different tribes sit differently in chairs. You learn to argue about football like a local. You spend 3 hours learning how to drink tea correctly. Not the flavor, the posture, the gestures, the way you hold the glass, the way you set it down. Every culture does it differently. Get it wrong, and you're immediately marked as a foreigner. Then they drop you in a foreign city. No money, no ID, no weapons, no support, no extraction plan. Survive 1 week. Complete 3 objectives. Don't get caught. Day 1, you're hungry. You sleep under a bridge. You listen and absorb the local slang. Day 3, you befriend a businessman. Tell him you were robbed. He buys you dinner. Day 6, you complete all 3 objectives. You're extracted. You think you passed? You barely did. The washout rate is 90%. Not because the candidates are weak. These are the most elite operators on the planet. Delta operators, SEAL snipers, Green Beret team leaders. They wash out because they can't become invisible. The guy who brags about his kills, gone. The guy who needs to dominate every room, gone. The guy who's too tall, gone. You can't hide 6'4". They keep the gray men, the forgettable faces. Average height, average build, average face. Extraordinary skills concealed behind deliberate mediocrity. You graduate, no ceremony, no handshake with a general. Just a tap on the shoulder, an address, a plane ticket, and a new name. Welcome to the activity. The name shifts constantly. Gray Fox, Central Spike, Task Force Orange, the Intelligence Support Activity. By the time anyone traces one name, it's already been replaced. Your unit has maybe 200 people. Compare that to 70,000 across the rest of Special Operations. You could fit the entire organization in a hotel ballroom. 2 branches. Human intelligence. That's you. You go places, you become people, you build relationships with sources who don't know their sources. SIGINT, signals intelligence. The technology side. They can track a phone across a continent, intercept encrypted communications, locate people who don't want to be found. Here's how the structure works. SEAL Team 6 kicks down doors. Delta raids compounds. The Rangers seize airfields. They're the hammer. You're the one who finds the nail. Without you, the shooters are blind, sitting on helicopters with nowhere to go. You find the targets. You map the networks. You locate the safe houses. Then you hand off the coordinates and vanish. The operators collect the medals. You collect a classified file no one will ever read. No base. You work out of embassies, safe houses, hotel rooms rented under names that don't exist. No uniform ever. You dress like wherever you are. Germany, you're a businessman. Pakistan, you're a merchant. Texas, you sell insurance. You carry multiple identities, multiple passports, multiple credit cards attached to lives built entirely from fiction. You are that person now, until the mission ends. Your first real operation. A city in North Africa. The target is a financier. Call him Hassan. He moves money for terrorist networks across 3 continents. Never touched a weapon, never built a bomb, never pulled a trigger. But his money has killed hundreds of Americans. Soldiers in Iraq, civilians outside embassies, passengers on planes. On paper, he's a legitimate businessman. He also routes $5 million a month to people who construct suicide vests. The politicians want him alive. They want the full network, not just one node. Your job is simple. Get close. Map his world. Find the vulnerabilities. Don't get caught. You arrive as Klaus Richter, German businessman, industrial machinery parts. Your cover is airtight. Business cards, a functioning website, a secretary in Munich who answers the calls and has no idea who she's actually working for. You rent an apartment in a mid-range neighborhood. You establish a routine. For 2 months, you do nothing remarkable. You eat alone at restaurants. You attend business conferences. You hand out cards for deals you'll never close. You are aggressively boring. Then you start appearing in his orbit. The gym where he trains 3 times a week. The mosque where he prays on Fridays. The cafe where he takes tea every Thursday afternoon. You become a fixture in each location. You never approach him. You never make eye contact. You just exist nearby, a ghost in his peripheral vision. By week 3, you know his schedule better than his wife does. You know his driver's name. You know he meets a woman on Tuesdays who isn't his wife. You know the man in the expensive suit he has lunch with every Monday. Every detail, encrypted, uploaded through a network bouncing through 6 countries before reaching Fort Meade. The color of his car, the license plate, the name of the restaurant, the face of the woman. Week 6, something shifts. A car appearing too often. A man sitting too straight. A pattern that doesn't belong to the neighborhood. The target has counter-surveillance. He's survived this long for a reason. You adjust. You increase your distance. You report the counter-surveillance. Within 48 hours, SIGINT has cracked his phone. They're reading his messages, monitoring his calls, watching his money move in real time. Then a break. He's meeting a courier carrying documents from overseas. Names, account numbers, a complete map of terrorist financing across 3 continents. The jackpot. You follow the courier from the airport. Short man, nervous, clutching a leather briefcase like his life depends on it. Because it does. He takes 3 separate taxis, doubles back twice. Amateur counter-surveillance. You've seen better. He checks into a hotel. Room 412. That night, a team you'll never meet enters the room. The courier is sedated. The documents are photographed cover to cover, then returned to the briefcase exactly as they were. He wakes up the next morning with a headache. He thinks it's jet lag. He delivers the briefcase to Hassan. He never knows it was compromised. 1 week later, $40 million in terrorist funds are frozen across 6 countries. 12 arrests. 3 planned attacks prevented before they start. A shopping mall in Paris. A subway station in London. A hotel in Bangkok. Your name is on nothing. You were never there. Klaus Richter departs for a business meeting and never returns. The apartment is cleaned. The lease terminated. It's like you never existed, because you didn't. The mission that defines your career. A bomb maker, code name, the engineer. Responsible for over 200 American deaths. IEDs in Iraq that destroyed convoys. Car bombs in Kabul. Attacks in Europe that dominated headlines for weeks. No usable photographs. No fixed location. He never uses a phone. Never uses email. Never sleeps in the same place 2 nights in a row. Even his own network doesn't know where he is. The most wanted man that most of the world has never heard of. The CIA has a dedicated task force. The NSA runs monitoring programs. Billions of dollars in satellites and analysts have found nothing for 3 years. Then they send you. You can't find him directly. He's too careful. So you find everyone around him. His courier tracked through Turkey. His doctor who treats his diabetes located in Jordan. His brother who handles his finances traced through Pakistan. His wife's family, his weapons supplier, his bodyguards. For 14 months, your team builds the web. Each thread pulls another thread. You're not looking for him directly. You're mapping the shape of the space he leaves in the world. You cycle through 3 countries, 3 identities. In Turkey, you're a journalist covering Syrian refugees. In Jordan, you're an aid worker distributing medicine. In Pakistan, you're a businessman exploring construction investments. Everywhere you go, you listen. You build relationships. You never ask direct questions. You let people talk and you remember everything. The breakthrough comes from SIGINT. 14 months of silence, then a single intercepted call. A lieutenant mentions an incoming guest, a mountain village, a compound that's been quiet for years but suddenly has movement. You're deployed immediately as a journalist covering reconstruction. Real press credentials, references that hold up. A photographer who is also activity, embedded in country for 3 years. You spend 2 weeks living in that village, eating with locals, drinking tea with elders, filing stories about agriculture that will never be published, and watching that compound from a hill half a kilometer away through a scope that looks like a camera lens. Vehicles arrive at night, gone before dawn. Never the same vehicle twice. Food deliveries triple on certain days. Guards rotate on 4-hour shifts. 2 at the gate, 2 on the roof. A patrol every 90 minutes. You photograph faces. Most come back unknown. Then one hits. Not the target, his brother. A financier believed dead for 5 years. If the brother is there, so is he. You relay everything. GPS coordinates to within 1 meter. Guard rotations, entry points, weak sections of the perimeter, every vehicle's position, every shift change, the best approach vectors, the viable escape routes. You're told to leave immediately. You pack your bags. You thank the village elder for his hospitality. You shake his hand. You promise to send him a copy of the article. You walk out. A car picks you up. You're across the border by nightfall. 72 hours later, the news reports a military operation targeting a senior terrorist leader. The host government issues a formal protest. The State Department issues a formal denial. You know exactly what happened. You drew the map. You counted the guards. You timed every patrol. Somewhere in Virginia, 2 new stars are carved into a wall. Operators who didn't make it out. You'll never know their names. But you made the mission possible. You've been doing this for 7 years. Or 8. You've stopped counting. 19 different identities, 14 countries, 5 languages with native-level fluency. The marriage is over. She couldn't sustain a relationship with someone who vanished for months at a time, who couldn't say where he'd been, who came back different every time. The divorce was quiet. She took the house. Your son is 14. You've missed 6 of his birthdays. Friends don't exist. Every relationship is either operational or a security risk. The psychological weight is harder to describe. You've watched people die, people you cultivated as sources, people who trusted you, people whose names you passed to the targeters. That courier in the hotel had children, 3 of them. The youngest looked about 4. You saw their photos in his wallet when the team searched the room. You dream in Arabic now. Sometimes you wake up and spend several seconds unable to recall your real name. You have to check your actual passport to confirm it. No medal covers any of this. No ceremony is planned. When you eventually step away, your family will be told you had a cardiac event at your desk job. So why do you keep going? 3 weeks ago, a bomb didn't detonate in a shopping mall in Virginia. 200 people drove home to their families. Parents, children, teenagers buying sneakers. None of them will ever know your name. None of them will ever know you were the reason. That's the only recognition that holds any meaning on most days. The mission that breaks all precedent. A nuclear scientist working for a regime pursuing a functional weapon. The kind that rewrites history. Diplomacy has been failing for years while centrifuges keep spinning. But new intelligence surfaces. The scientist isn't a true believer. He's a captive of his own government. His family is the leverage. His daughter's school monitored. His wife followed constantly. He wants out. Someone at the highest level asks the question, what if we extracted him? Not an assassination. A full extraction, scientist and family, from a country where failure triggers an international incident, possibly war. No military assets, no official involvement. If you're caught, you're a criminal. The United States will deny everything. They'll deny you exist because officially you don't. 4 people. All activity. All ghosts. Preparation takes months. Maps, documents, safe houses arranged through intermediaries who don't know who they're actually working for. Contact with the scientist is made through his daughter's piano teacher, who has been embedded for 3 years waiting for exactly this moment. The message is brief. 1 chance, 1 night. Trust us, or spend the rest of your life building weapons for people who will actually use them. He says yes. The night of the extraction, a power outage, not accidental. SIGINT arranged it. In the darkness, you move. The scientist, his wife, 2 daughters. The youngest is 7. She thinks it's an adventure. You let her believe that. A car to a checkpoint. Documents that cost $50,000 to produce. A bribed guard who believes he's facilitating smugglers. A boat across water you'll never name. 8 hours in complete darkness. The little girl gets seasick. You hold her hair back while she vomits over the side of the boat. Safe house to safe house for 2 weeks, moving every night. Every passing vehicle could be the one that ends you. Then, an airfield in the middle of nowhere. A plane with no markings. Handshakes with men who don't give names. The scientist departs. He spends 6 months in debriefing. He provides everything. Diagrams, names, locations, complete timelines. The nuclear program is set back by a decade. No weapon, no war. Millions of lives that simply continue. The family receives new identities, a house in a country they've never visited. The little girl grows up American. She'll never understand how close it came. You return to your next identity, your next city, your next mission. Years pass. 17 identities, 12 countries, 37 operations, 4 moments where you should have died. You stopped tracking the numbers. They don't change anything. You're in a cafe. Could be anywhere in Europe, possibly the United States. You're just a man reading a newspaper. Gray hair now, a few more lines around the eyes. Still the kind of face no one can describe 5 minutes after seeing it. A young man sits nearby, fit, alert, trying too hard to appear relaxed. His posture is wrong. He checks his watch too frequently. He's watching someone, learning the craft, probably fresh out of the farm. He thinks he's invisible. He isn't. You identified him in 3 seconds. You could teach him things. How to hold a cup so it partially obscures your face. How to use window reflections instead of turning your head. How to time your movements to traffic patterns. How to disappear in a crowd of 3 people. How to become so unremarkable, so gray, so completely forgettable that no one can confirm you were present. But you won't say a word, because he doesn't know you exist. And he never will. That's always been the rule. There's no retirement ceremony for ghosts, no pension you can explain. One day you simply stop receiving the tap on the shoulder. Maybe you teach now, training the next generation of invisible people in a facility that appears on no official map, a building with no sign, students with no names, a curriculum that doesn't exist. Maybe you consult, skills that can't be listed on any resume, paid through companies that exist only on paper. Maybe you simply disappear one final time into a life that is genuinely your own. A quiet house, a garden, a dog, ordinary things. But part of you stays alert, always listening, noticing the car that passes twice, the man who lingers too long, the pattern that doesn't fit. Old habits don't disappear. They simply wait. Because you know the truth. The world is kept functional by people who officially don't exist, by operations that never happened, by men and women who surrendered everything for a country that will never acknowledge what they gave. No parades, no monuments, just a star on a wall, no name beneath it. You were one of them. That kid in the cafe might be exceptional. He might wash out. He might die in a country that won't record he was ever there. He might become one of those stars. Or he might become what you became. A ghost, a shadow, a person who exists only in classified files that stay sealed for 75 years. By the time anyone reads them, everyone who knew him will already be gone. That's always been the trade. You finish your coffee, you leave exact change on the table. You step outside. The sun is shining. Couples walk past holding hands. Kids head to school. Businessmen stare at their phones. None of them know. None of them ever will. That's the point. You walk out into the light. Just another face. Forgettable, invisible, gone.
I appreciate you watching until the very end. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It really helps out a growing channel like mine. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.